Hi, folks. Welcome to another edition of Another Ride with Dave. That's what I've decided to call it. I think that's a good title, I think, Dave. How are you, Dave?
I'm very well, sir. All good in the Courtney hood, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. How's your week been?
It's been quite an exciting one for me because me and Brendan have just bought a canal boat. I don't know if you see the last, I think it was a couple of years ago, I think. That boat there, we've just bought it.
Why?
We're going to collect it on Tuesday,
Yeah.
take it into a boat yard, and then hopefully by Christmas it will be finished and all done up new. So we'll be floating about on the river, mate.
Why?
Rosie and Jim, you know.
Didn't you have a problem last time with the boat?
We did have a problem, yeah. I'd had a few problems. It was one big, long problem, to be honest.
Right.
It was, none of us had ever done it before. It weren't the actual greatest boat at the time. There was no toilet on it. It was hanging onto bars and putting your bum over the edge and all. It was a very ungraceful ride for 2 weeks. But in that 2 weeks, it was the nicest 2 weeks we had that year. So as soon as it rained, I was packing up and going home, but it never rained. We had a fantastic holiday. We had a very funny, interesting passenger with us, so it was quite an event. It was quite an event. It was the funniest 2 weeks I'd ever filmed. And for me personally, I think the first or second day I was on there, I dropped my phone in the canal. So I really was out there with no knocks on the door, no one going, Dave, no, I'm ringing up. And I suppose I have at least a couple of hundred phone calls a day, a couple of hundred messages, a couple of hundred voicemails, a couple of hundred emails. I don't know. So for me, it really was a cut-off holiday. So we've just bought that boat. It's not in a good state at the moment. We're moving it next Tuesday it's going to be a week's ride next Tuesday. I'll keep everyone informed, but I'll do the filming, and we put it into a boat yard, and it's all been done up. Dave Courtney style. It's going to be cool.
So, have you always been into getting on boats? Are you at that time?
No. I'm a late starter. Well, I'm a city boy, ain't I? Yeah, I'm an on-road bloke, as they say. Yeah.
Right. What is it that you like about it? What is the thing? It's just being
the nothingness, the absolute nothingness of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no excitement in it. It's pottering along at 2.5 miles an hour. The actual people you're mooring up beside are all a certain type, although some of them are rich and some of them are really, I would say, poor. You know what I mean? But some of them are hippie-ish. Some of them are a lot of city boys buying the really nice ones just to get away from it all and all that. But along the canals, there's a bunch of nice people there everywhere you stop. It was interesting.
Is there any room inside? Can you actually, stand up?
Yeah. It's quite a big boat. Yeah, it's got remember the old Wimbasto sunroofs? It's got one of them as well. So it's a 4-berth comfortably.
Yeah.
It's got its own bedroom, and in the sitting room, it will have a pull-out settee bed. It's cool. It's got all the showers. It will have. At the moment, it's just a carcass with a big log burner in it and a very good engine. Apart from that, there's nothing in it at all. But I've got somebody to come in that's a kitchen fitter, and they will put in a new floor, new walls, insulate it, have it out the water while it's in the dry docks, respray it.
Yeah. So how long, Dave, have you and Brendan been mates? Because you've been together for mates forever.
It feels like that, yeah. The umbilical cord was cut last week in Sainsbury's. No, I've been with him, I don't know, 25 years.
Really?
Yeah, about 30 years.
And how did you meet?
In the Ministry of Sound.
Right. Okay.
He was. I mean, it's a really old joke now, but it was the very first time I'd ever heard anyone say, I saw him get a chucked with a bottle of champagne, a glass of champagne in his face. And he went to the bird. Obviously, you've mistaken me for someone that gives. I know that everyone's heard that joke now, so really, I'd love to have a much more exciting thing. That was the first time I'd ever heard it, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. And so I grabbed hold of him and I had him round me. We had the funniest time ever that night. It was a really, really funny night. He's a very, very, very funny man. Yeah. And I said, I've got to see it tomorrow. We'll see it again. You've got to come over and all that. And he went to me. I didn't know how pointed a conversation this was, but I'd had a really good time with him. But he went to me, listen, I'd love to knock about you, Dave, but I don't do the fighting thing. Yeah, I don't do the fighting thing. I ain't no good at it. Don't like getting hurt. Heard all the rumours about you. I don't know whether I'd been the right one. I went, oh, I'm embarrassed with that. So I'm going, oh, stop. Don't be silly. Shut up. I don't like the fighting thing. I've got all these fucking muscleheads to do that. Stop. And he went, no. He said, I'm just saying, we're ever out together. He went, don't ever take on anything you can't handle on your own, because I will run away. I mean, I don't do it. And I went, shut up saying that to me. Stop it. It really ain't important. Stop it. I was embarrassed of that. And it was never said again until the very first time, which was about 3 months down the line. I then see him the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. And I have him around me because he is another cool gesture. He's a very, very funny man.
Yeah.
He will keep you in. He will keep you upbeat and in good spirit.
He's great.
I then actually moved him into my house. He was very, very funny. And all his job was for me is, you keep me laughing and on the top bubbly mood all day, and I'll handle all the trouble that knocks on the front door or on the phone when they go, Dave. No. You just keep me in a good mood and I'll handle all them problems. And that really is what he is and what he's been to me. But he has been running away and leaving me and deserting me and leaving me whenever there's been any ag. He had no qualms whatsoever or no embarrassment in running away.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah.
You know, he really did mean it. Like the very first time we had to jump out of a Range Rover, having this big punch up, we got outnumbered and we're fighting for our life, a lot of us, and he wouldn't even get out of the car. He just opened the window a little bit and turned the music up, and I was like, and we was going, and we got back into the car, all bleeding. There's a load of lumps sitting in the back there. I wanted to throttle him. And I went, quickly tell me why I shouldn't punch you straight in the head. Quickly tell me why I shouldn't bang you for that. And he just pulled the handbrake up and went, hold it. Whoa. He said, did I not say to you on the first day I ever met you, David, did I not say, I don't do that. Please handle it without me. Did I not say that? I had to go, yeah. And he went, what do you reckon, a little sorry might be in order? No. I had to go, I'm sorry. And everyone's in the back of the car really I'm to the piss. He went, no, you love this tune. I see you on the dance floor going, yeah, slave to the vibe. Da-da-da. He said, I thought that might help you. And I've had to go, oh, I'm sorry. And he's been running away, leaving me ever since.
Fantastic. I do remember being in a limo with you picking him up because he actually went, was he in Belmarsh or something?
He was in Belmarsh, yeah, for spitting on the traffic warden, and he ended up doing 2 weeks.
Yeah. How was he with that?
He still shows off about it as if he's not been a prisoner and he's an hard nut. Then he goes, yeah, I've done it too. You know, weeks. He done 2 weeks. But I made the effort. I had all the boys go down to pick him up in the limo with a bottle of champagne. Yeah. There's some very funny footage of that somewhere.
Yeah, well, I was there.
And I know you took it, but there was some I went down there in the copper's outfit with a motorbike, and there's some very funny footage.
And then
I love it. It's my partner.
They wanted to confiscate the footage, the police, didn't they? That's
right. Oh, wow, you do remember. Well done.
Yeah.
They come up and wanted to take the film out of the camera.
Yeah, that was it. I think we slipped it somewhere. So it was great fun.
I'll try and put that up. If you find that,
yes.
If you know where that is, please.
Yes.
Try and put that up.
Yeah, I will. I'll see if I can
that day, because that was a very, very funny day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very funny. You were there in your policeman's helmet.
And then I put the Screws uniform on and went up to the cop. Yeah. Try and put that up.
Yeah, I will find it. Right, we've got loads of subscriber questions, Dave.
Go on then, subscribe away.
Yeah, so folks, Dave's going to be doing this every week. So if you've got any questions for Dave, put them in the comments below. Dave will answer any of your questions. Right, Stephen Finch says, Dave's books are fantastic. Are you going to be writing any more?
I've actually just signed a contract 2 weeks ago with a ghostwriter to actually do another one, yeah. It's about time I wrote another one.
Yeah,
I haven't wrote another one because my son was murdered a few years ago, about 10 years ago. Yeah. And there was never ever after that a time to start going, I'm having a party, I'm writing a book, I'm doing it. You know, you didn't know when to start that. The actual man who done it weren't found for a year, you know, there was a lot of and so that sort of knocked me back a little bit in the let's let's prostitute myself and get out there like I normally do. That kicked me in the a little bit. So
that must have been an awful time for you, Dave.
It was. I can't start to say. You know, I mean, I can't. You know, and it was worse for Jennifer, but it cost me, my wife, my family, my son, 10 years. You know, it was a very painful experience, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to go on about that too much. Cool. That's a very upsetting thing.
We'll have a little show on that one day. That's possibly a heart-rendering show. We'll have one on that. I don't mind.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So let's have a look. Scud's Life says, "Can you ask Dave if I can come round to his house for a bit?" He seems to laugh.
A little bit of what? If I said yes to everyone that wanted to come round my house, I would. You know, if he's any good with a paintbrush, or he's a carpenter, or he fancies a good game of pool, I still play pool one hand. I ain't lost for a week odd. Yeah. Where's he live?
I don't know. He doesn't say. He could be a psychopath. He could be.
I could have 25,000 a day ringing up and saying, "Can I come round?" Oh, listen, my door. You know my house.
Yeah, lovely.
They all turn up as psychopaths. They all knock on the door.
Yeah. Do you know?
If he makes it to my house, I doubt if I'd go.
How long have you been in Camelot Castle?
About 30 odd year.
Yeah, fantastic. It's anybody who's watching this, it is a fantastic place to go around to. I mean, it's got everything. It's got the dungeons. It's got the memorabilia everywhere. I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it? What a place.
It's got the library, the armory.
Yeah. It's got the
nightclubs. Yeah. It's got the lot. It's got the big 16-man jacuzzi.
Yes.
I'm very lucky at the moment. I'm enjoying it at the moment. Being Dave Courtney at the moment is very easy and relaxing and nice. Getting here, actually getting here was a little bit shitty, some of it. You know what I mean? A couple of holes in me I wish I never had. And
yeah, you've had when was your first ever criminal activity? Do you remember? Was it like stealing from a sweet shop? What was the first thing?
I can't remember. I think you were just born naughty.
Yeah. And
when you're doing it, you don't actually look at it as a criminal activity at all. That's just your nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, you understand what I mean? It's just in your genes to nicking the hunting for a laugh, trying to get it for nothing. Even now, if I was a multi-millionaire and I was buying something in the garage and the geezer turned his back, I would still nick a curly whirly. You know what I mean? It's just in your thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? So
do you miss
an opportunist? I was and am. Yeah.
Do you miss because you're not obviously doing a lot of that these days, if any?
No. I don't like curly wellies anymore. My teeth would fall out.
But you miss the buzz of it all, and
of course you do.
Yeah.
It's not you're a perpetual or a reoffending criminal. It's the lifestyle you miss.
Yeah.
The camaraderie around the criminal world. Just the excitement of nicking that curly whirly or getting in the vault under the floor or nicking the boat or giving the geezer a smack in a chops. It's a whole way of life that is in your genes and you live and breathe it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Life is only crime is only glamorous on a TV show, right? On the big screen and in a book. But it's a little bit more entertaining than being a greengrocer.
Yeah.
Or a milkman. Yeah. You've got even the worry of having a bad day is quite exciting. The little belly wobbling, you know what I mean? Even the nerves of it all going wrong.
So I was going to ask Dave, because I've known you a very long time, right? There's different sides to you. Do you get nervous? Like, supposing you've got to go out and, there's 50 blokes you've got to lead, on a funeral or something like that. Do you have to hype yourself up? Do you have to be a different person?
No, not at all. I'm lucky in the reason I have never, I don't think, in my life once ever panicked. I don't know what that feels like, right. Which makes it very hard for me to understand someone else doing it or forgive someone else for doing it, because it makes you do and say some very strange and un-you-y things when you panic. But I've never. I think it's because I'm a show-off. Mm-hmm. That the bigger the event, the more ready for it I was. The bigger the event,
Right.
the scarier the thing, the more ready for that I was. That's coming into my zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
I was on my own and I had no one else around me, that suited me down to the ground.
Right.
Standing up in the box at the Old Bailey, most probably the most frightening thing anyone will have to do. Say a word wrong, you get 20 years. That's scary.
Yeah.
That was my domain.
Yeah.
I choose to do that. I stand on stage and talk to 500 and 600 people doing shows and leading the men forward, being the last, the buck stops here. My shoulders are big enough for that. I'll handle that. Yeah. And I feel that I presented myself and done very well at the time I was in charge. I took it on board very seriously, man.
Yeah. I mean, because you've always got these, you know, like 20, 30, 50 blokes around you and stuff like that. I just wonder if that might be a strain, or do you feed off it? You love it?
I don't feed off it, but I do like it.
Yeah.
And I've always had it. And I say that because they're that big and like that, you think they're unleadable, but they need a leader. Them great big uns need someone to steer it for them or point for them. Yeah, you don't normally get the geezer who works the engine in a boat ain't the bloke who holds the steering wheel. It's two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful big powerhouses themselves, but they need someone with a little bit of guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah, brain and brawn you don't normally get in both.
I've got Tim Smith.
I relish that position and I'm thankful for it.
Tim Smith, he said, Dave saved my brother's life at Queen's.
Just saying the word, Queen's.
What was
just
Queen's?
Saying the word makes you go all tingly. that was a nightclub in Colnbrook, Windsor, Slough, that way.
Right.
It was on the Queen Mother's Reservoir. So it was a reservoir in the day. It was a yacht club in the day. And in the night time, it was a nightclub. It was a classy nightclub. Mm-hmm. You had all the airport staff coming there when all the air hostesses, 56 Thailand air hostesses, 58 Polish air hostesses. But there was a lot of traveller sites around.
Right.
And they all used to come up, and they loved a bit of bag then, but they pulled up in their Rolls Royces and their 2 grand suits and their gold and all good-looking boys and all that. But you could tell they were travellers because they all had dirty boots. They had to get from the caravan to the roller, right? And they love a row, didn't they? That gave me a very healthy respect for the whole traveller community. You know what I mean? I got very tight and close with them and took a couple of good ideas from them and gave out a good few ideas. But that was an action-packed place. That was the there in the Tattersall Castle. That was the growing of Dave Courtney. They were so tasty that the doorman in the area, what they would do is they'd go around his house at 8 o'clock in the morning, kick out of him in his kitchen and go, you throw me out next week or stop me selling gear, I'll come in here and batter you. So the doormen that all lived around the area couldn't work there. So he had to employ me and 8 of my doormen to go drive down there in a transit. So they didn't know where we lived, and it was action-packed, you know, on the way down there, the music blaring. You thought you was going to war. It was mental. It was absolutely mental. Stunning place.
Did you like working the door?
Oh yeah, that was what I was made for, I think, at the time. There was individual stars then, the Lenny McLeans and all that. You know, there ain't there many more. No disrespect to them, I'm afraid. When I was a doorman, there was a different breed of doorman then. You understand? I mean, then if you lost a fight as a doorman, they sacked you and employed a better fighter.
Yeah.
There was only 3 or 4 doormen of you working there, and it was a time of football violence. You know what I mean? If you worked in a club in London, every second week, there was all foreign teams down. There was Newcastle supporters come to play Arsenal, Man United supporters all come down to play Chelsea, Liverpool supporters come down to play Crystal Palace, and there was thousands of them in the West End. You know, so the fighting thing was a lot more violent than it is today, but today it's a little bit more spiteful.
Yeah,
if you understand what I mean. Yeah, there was hundreds and hundreds more fights then. In them days, you'd be in a nightclub, and if you're in trouble, your doorman would have to go, "Help me!" and run in. Nowadays, they go, "Trouble at exit number 5, need some assistance," and the other 25 doormen come up with, and they're not allowed to hit you back. You know, nowadays, if a doorman punches you once or hits you back, the owner has to nick him, sack him, take him down to the police station with his name, address, his blood group, his photo, You know what I mean? So it's they're bred a different type of man.
Yes.
And you'll never get a Lenny McLean because you can't get good at something unless you do it a lot.
Yes.
You know, play football, not play football for 6 months, come back, you know, and fighting is exactly the same. And Lenny McLean had 4 or 5 fights a night, 5 nights a week for 20 years. So by the time me and you bumped into him off piste on the way home at the door of a club, he was good at it. Yeah. Nowadays, all these doormen are working, haven't hit anyone for 2 years.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to be good at it. You know what I mean? So it was a different breed of men, and the camaraderie around that at the time. Your own little firm, you know what I mean? It was sexy, man.
I bet it was. Well, you've only got to look at so that Julius Francis recently,
of course,
knocked out a punter, and I think he got suspended, didn't he?
That's right. Well, he worked for me, Julius Francis. He lived in Woolwich, he's my mate.
Yeah, you know, it's great.
It's the film and all that, and you had not Julius Francis's capabilities, but you had 50 of them on your side. How could you not feel a little cocky, a little spring in your step, a little invincible thing? You know what I mean? You get oozes out of you. You can smell it. You can taste it on me. Yeah, you got 50 of them. Fuck, it's sexy, man.
Yeah, I remember back in the day me filming you on a new doorman's course when they changed the whole doorman thing. Do you remember?
Yeah, we all had to do that. Yeah, that was cool.
It was a bit ridiculous, wasn't it? I mean,
yeah. I passed, but the police never gave me my thing. I'd been a doorman then for 30 years. But I passed it.
Yeah.
And that was very funny, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very funny because you had all these experienced doormen who'd done it for years and years and years. There with their pens and pencils, having to fill out the forms and everything.
And pass the baton if the man was like getting too violent for you, before you went bang and dragged him out, you had to pass it on to someone else to see if he could talk him down, and then see if he could. I was like, wow, man.
It was mad, wasn't it? Right.
No disrespect to the doorman today, but they're not them. They're not the same as them. You know, you get some funny shaped doorman now, don't you? You know.
Yeah, I know. It's very, very funny.